You turn a handle, and clean, hot water instantly pours over your hands. It takes exactly 2 seconds, a mindless modern habit you perform every day. But for your ancestors in the Middle Ages, washing was not a push of a button. It was a deliberate, highly structured, and time-consuming ritual. Yet, despite lacking modern plumbing, they maintained hygiene standards that would genuinely shock you, exposing a massive 1,000-year lie you have been told about human history. When you picture the medieval world, you probably imagine mud-soaked peasants, rotting teeth, and cities overflowing with filth. Hollywood has painted a very dirty picture. But archaeological evidence and medieval medical texts reveal a completely different reality. The people of the Middle Ages were actually deeply obsessed with personal cleanliness. Step into the shoes of a 13th century peasant waking up. The very first thing you do each morning is not heading straight out to the fields. You pour cold water from a wooden pitcher into a basin. You thoroughly wash your face and your hands, wiping away the sleep and sweat. You dry your skin with a rough linen cloth. This basic morning routine was not optional, it was a fundamental social expectation across all classes. Because you eat with your bare hands, keeping them clean is a matter of survival and etiquette. You wash them before every meal and after. We know this because of popular medieval health manuals, like the widely read Secretus Secretorum. These texts explicitly advised readers to maintain strict daily hygiene. The manual instructs you to wash your face with cold water every single morning, claiming it preserves body heat and stimulates your natural vital energy. Next comes your hair. You use a finely crafted comb made of bone or wood. Combing is a daily necessity to remove dirt and prevent lice. Archaeologists have unearthed thousands of these double-sided lice combs from medieval sites across Europe. Personal grooming tools were incredibly common, even among the poorest workers. But keeping clean requires water. And without pipes bringing it directly into your home, fetching heavy buckets from the local river or well is exhausting work. So, when it is time for a full-body wash, you need something stronger than just cold river water. You need chemistry. Specifically, ash and animal fat. The soap was called lye soap, crafted by boiling hardwood ash and animal fat, usually mutton tallow, together in a large iron cauldron over a fire. This ancient chemical reaction created a highly alkaline substance. It was harsh on the skin, but it stripped away grease, sweat, and bacteria with absolute ruthless efficiency. But medieval hygiene was not just about rough, utilitarian scrubbing. We have surviving medical texts that reveal a surprisingly sophisticated understanding of skincare and cosmetics. One of the most famous was written by Trucula of Salerno, a pioneering female physician in 12th century Italy, whose work circulated widely across early medieval Europe. In her treatise on women's cosmetics, she detailed elaborate recipes for facial cleansers, breath fresheners, and gentler soaps designed specifically for soft, delicate skin. If you had a little extra coin, you didn't have to use harsh animal fat. You could buy imported Castile soap made entirely from pure olive oil. Merchants brought these luxury soaps from the Mediterranean. They were often infused with aromatic herbs, completely crushing the myth that the medieval world only smelled like manure. You would scent your everyday clothes with dried lavender and rose petals, packing them tightly into cedar wooden chests to ward off moths and body odor. So, you have your hard soap and your linen towels ready. Now, it is time for the ultimate hygienic luxury, a full-body immersion bath in a tub. But preparing this bath is a monumental task. You must chop firewood, haul dozens of heavy buckets of water, and slowly heat them over an open flame. You carefully pour the steaming water into a massive wooden half-barrel. The entire process takes hours, which is exactly why a full bath is a rare, cherished event. But before you step in, you drape a large, clean linen sheet over the rough inside of the tub. This is a crucial medieval bathing hack. The linen cloth protects your bare skin from painful wooden splinters, and it acts as a massive sponge to help retain the heat of the water. Because heating so much water requires immense fuel and labor, your entire family would often share the same bathwater, starting with the oldest and ending with the youngest. But what if you wanted to get totally clean without the exhausting manual labor of heating your own water? You would leave your house and join the crowd. Welcome to the medieval public bathhouse, commonly known as a stew. In cities like London or Paris, these were incredibly popular establishments. You do not bathe alone in a tiny, private room. Instead, you strip down and step into a massive wooden tub shared with complete strangers. Bathing here is a highly anticipated social event. You sit in the warm water for hours, eating bread, drinking ale, and gossiping with your neighbors. Modern humans demand absolute privacy in the bathroom. But for your medieval ancestors, getting clean was a communal activity that strengthened deep social bonds. Some of these bathhouses even offered luxurious extras like padded seats and wooden trays floating on the water, transforming hygiene into a profitable medieval industry. So your body is perfectly clean. But what about your mouth? You probably imagine your medieval ancestors smiling with a mouth full of rotting teeth. Movies always show medieval peasants with black, missing teeth. But if an archaeologist dug up a 12th century skull today, the smile would shock you. Studies of medieval graveyards reveal that these people had significantly less tooth decay than people living hundreds of years later during the Victorian era. Their secret was not magic, and it was certainly not modern dentistry. The answer was their diet. They simply did not have access to refined sugar. Today, your diet is packed with processed sugars that instantly feed the bacteria in your mouth, aggressively destroying your enamel day after day. But your medieval ancestors ate coarse bread, fresh vegetables, and tough meats. This rough diet naturally scraped their teeth clean as they aggressively chewed. And they did actively clean their mouths. After a meal, you would use a rough linen cloth to vigorously rub your teeth and gums clean. Medical guides also recommended chewing on fragrant herbs like mint and cloves, or rinsing your mouth with mixtures of vinegar and wine to kill bacteria. So, you have a clean body from the public baths and surprisingly strong teeth. The Middle Ages were clearly not a dark age of filth. The real era of extreme human filth actually came much later. The true disaster began when people suddenly became terrified of water itself. The sudden shift happened in the 16th century. Europe was struck by a devastating and terrifying new outbreak, the Great Pox, known today as syphilis. Because this disease was highly contagious and often spread through intimate contact, the beloved public bathhouses quickly transformed from social hubs into deadly infection zones. Authorities across Europe panicked. Within a few decades, almost all the massive wooden tubs were smashed, and the public bathhouses were permanently boarded up. But the fear did not stop at the bathhouses. Prominent doctors began circulating a terrifying new medical theory about how the human body worked. They warned that sitting in hot water aggressively opened your pores, making your skin extremely vulnerable to the invisible, toxic miasma floating everywhere. Doctors firmly believed that this foul air carried the plague. If your pores were open from a warm bath, death would literally seep into you. Almost overnight, taking a bath went from being a luxurious daily routine to a highly dangerous medical risk. Water itself became the ultimate enemy. Instead of using water, people transitioned to dry washing. You would furiously rub your skin with clean linen, believing the cloth absorbed the filth. Even royalty abandoned water. By the 17th century, magnificent palaces were filled with aristocrats who simply wore heavy perfumes to mask their overwhelming body odor. You would cake your face in thick, white, toxic powders, pretending to be clean while your skin underneath had not touched water in months. So, if the Middle Ages were actually surprisingly clean, why do you believe they were so filthy? The blame falls squarely on Enlightenment-era historians. These later thinkers desperately wanted to portray their own time as the absolute peak of human civilization, so they launched a massive historical smear campaign. They deliberately branded the Middle Ages as the Dark Ages, a 1,000-year period of sheer ignorance, mud, and unwashed peasants, completely ignoring the archaeological facts. This fabricated narrative was so powerful that it survived for centuries, eventually becoming the exact dirty stereotype that modern Hollywood aggressively sells to you today. But while you might judge your medieval ancestors, your modern, ultra-sterile hygiene habits have quietly introduced a completely new set of invisible evolutionary problems. Today, you probably shower every single day, aggressively scrubbing your body with harsh synthetic chemical gels. But dermatologists now warn you might be overwashing. Your skin is covered in a delicate microbiome. Daily aggressive washing strips away this ancient evolutionary defense system along with your natural skin oils. This constant sterilization leaves your skin completely dry, irritated, and highly vulnerable to modern allergies that your medieval ancestors rarely ever experienced. In contrast, the medieval routine of daily spot cleaning with cold water and rough linen preserved their skin's natural biological oil barrier perfectly. But the biggest evolutionary loss is not biological, it is deeply psychological. Modern hygiene has become a highly sterilized, completely isolated, lonely experience. For the medieval peasant, getting clean was a vital communal ritual. Sharing a massive bathhouse strengthened bonds and maintained their local social networks. Evolutionary anthropologist Robin Dunbar suggests that humans need casual social contact to maintain group cohesion. The medieval stews provided exactly this crucial environment. Today, you lock the bathroom door, demanding absolute privacy. You have successfully separated yourself from your community in the endless pursuit of total cleanliness. We look back at the Middle Ages with pure disgust, still fully believing the Enlightenment propaganda that painted our ancestors as ignorant, unwashed savages. But archaeological evidence and historical medical texts completely prove that this 1,000-year period was filled with complex chemistry, herbal cosmetics, and vibrant social hygiene. They may not have had underground plumbing or electric water heaters, but they dedicated immense physical labor to staying remarkably clean and healthy. The true dirty era of human history only began when fear of water and disease drove people to hide their filth under heavy perfumes and powders. So, your modern bathroom is undoubtedly a breathtaking marvel of human engineering, granting you instant, sterile comfort that a medieval king could only dream of. But as you stand completely alone under the showerhead, entirely disconnected from the natural world and your community, you are living an evolutionary anomaly. So tomorrow, when you turn a handle and clean, hot water instantly pours over your hands, remember the elaborate, deeply human communal ritual you left behind.